Let's start.
Okay, hi everybody. So my name's Gus. I'm here to present to you Solid Space, which is a business involved in housing. So we think the problem is about good housing for people that are design conscious. We think it simply doesn't exist in the UK. So look at all these items here. These are lovely designer items. These are designer people, and where do they have to live? Something like that? Does that really feel right? Something like that? Does that really feel right? So we think we've got a solution. We think we've come up with a house typology which suits this kind of lifestyle and suits the designer. So we offer benefits because not only are they stylish, but they're environmentally friendly, they're cheap to run, and they have a lot of style and character, even more so than the Victorian homes or the modern homes that are being built at the moment. So this is an example of some of our stuff, and this is our latest one here. So how do we think that better design is good? So there have been some surveys around. There's some surveys which tell us that good design leads to better health. There's some surveys around that most consumers want good design, but the problem is most of the competition aren't doing anything about it. So this is 72% say that good design leads to better sales. 85% think that good design leads to a better quality of life, and yet 82% of our competition are building what they considered poor or average design, and only 18% of homes are rated good or very good by the CABE Independent Institute for Architecture. And this is again another statistic: 60% of new build homes have no storage space, and this is another indication of poor quality that's out there in terms of the modern home market. This is some of the people that we've talked to. This is about our own design, so this is why we think our designs are sort of doing something interesting. You can read it there. They're saying it's a very, very positive message about our homes, which are very new, it's a prototype, so we're sort of testing it out. And these guys there's some architects here, that guy was a developer, and they're really saying that this is something really rather unique. But the proof is in the pudding. So we've not had very many sales, but we've got a couple of bits of statistics to offer you. First of all, this is one of our homes that was built in 2004, and it was resold in 2009. So what we did is we took the value that it was sold for then and the value it was sold for then and rebased it against. You can see this is a very nice new build on the river. This is a new build. These are basically prices in the local area, more prices in the local area. This is Greater London, and this is England and Wales. So you can see that England and Wales has gone up about 5% or something. This is London has kind of gone up between sort of 20 to 30%, and ours went up 45%. So it shows that not only do we get sales premium when you sell them, but they retain it and actually improve with that as the market, as the value of it goes through the chain, or it goes through time. This again is something. This is our new homes that we're offering right now. We haven't sold them, but we have had an offer on the table. Our offer on the table is up here at £450 a foot. The local average is down there at sort of £330 or something. The local median about the same. And this is a local new build, so if you want to say that that's a direct comparable, and we're still above that, about 10% above. This is just to see a bit of demographics here. This is talking about saying that actually the reality is that more and more people want to own or occupy, so there's big demand, and here's the overhang. This is basically about the number of population. This is the households, so you can see that there's a big demand for housing in general. So in terms of competitive advantage, We've got some protection. We've got a trademark.
Here's Tom.
Okay.
Right.
That's it.
So, is it the two of us to...
No, not me.
Yeah.
No,
You two.
You two are the.
you two are going
Okay.
for the Jaguar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's overall good. There are quite a few things though to be careful about. One is be careful with the denigratory comments on houses, because when you show the pictures at the beginning, if one of your investors or one of the people that you're pitching to lives in one of those houses, you're out. So just, you can use the kind of pictures, but just be careful the way that you use them.
That's a good point.
You made reference to some surveys in other occasions. At the end, you had like more specific information on those surveys, but probably when you say some surveys, try to be more specific. Be it from, without going into the detail, but be it from the RICS or from...
I suppose I could just put it on the slide. Right?
Yeah. It wasn't particularly clear who were the competitors, so when you made mentions of the housing in the area, was it social housing or was it comparable quality to what you're offering?
You mean in terms of that one graph? In terms of the graph
Both
right at
the
the
graph,
end?
Both the graph and then at the end when you showed like Essex News, there was a graph there where you showed the 450 plus per square foot versus whatever it was for new builds. Well, they have to be similar, or you have to have a way to demonstrate that they're similar.
They're not, because we're doing
Well,
something different, but they're both new builds, so I separated new builds and then just everything on the market.
But are they new builds like houses, or are they new builds in apartments?
No, they're new build houses, so
So they are
specific.
comparable. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it was particularly clear who was your target market, because it's okay that it's people who have perhaps a higher disposable income.
What about all the design conscious people? Was that not clear?
Well, the design conscious people, yeah, but then are they like in their late 20s, 30 to 40s?
They're actually all over.
All over.
They're all
You need
over,
to
from
find
young to
some
old.
sort of, like that's kind of
Statistics.
all well and good, but you need to find some sort of way to say, I know who these people are, I know where they go, I know what they do, I know that they have these sorts of behaviours, like, so that they're identifiable, like even if it's not demographically bounded. I mean, in some ways it will be demographically bounded at a point because of the kind of value of the houses.
But probably you will want people with a family.
Yeah, interestingly, some older people are quite interested as well. Some sort of downsizers really like our homes.
But then you may have a distribution of your target, let's say, audience or target customers. Those are age-based or those are the income-based.
Yeah.
And also how
kind
big,
of characteristic.
how big that is, that market is.
Yeah.
And the incomes, that's depend on.
Have you looked at, sorry, like we're kind of all jumping all over the place here, but have you looked at like mortgage data, like data from like banks and stuff to say like loan applications,
No,
approvals, that sort of thing?
You mean the financing?
Yeah,
Financing side.
just because you get a
Good
sense then for like how many people are like, you know, getting a mortgage on a house that would be in this value in the UK in these sorts of areas. Like,
Totally agree, because the statistics you put in one of the last slides were up to 2007, which was immediately before the big crash. So the fact that
Which one?
the owner-occupied versus tenanted properties, so clearly the market has changed completely, and something more recent will be necessary. Anyway, there are certain statistics from National Building Association or from, as Naomi was saying, mortgage providers. last one for now. When you make reference to the price, the graph where there were all the different prices and the value that you created, how many houses have you actually sold? Because if it's,
One.
so if it's based on one,
It's
very
resales.
statistically it is.
Yeah, of course. But it's the only thing we've got to
Yeah.
go on. We've only got two data points, but
But
And
that's
over-
a good start point.
Yeah, over how long period?
well, the first one we sold the first one in 2004, something 2003, 2004. Then one of those flats got resold in 2009. Then we've not had any other sales.
Okay, so it was anywhere in the middle of the crisis.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, probably worth pointing out that it was sold in the middle of the crisis
Yeah.
and yet commanded
yeah, yeah.
higher.
It's really about how that's outperformed the London market. And where the London market's kind of gone that, and this one's gone that, because people are seeing that actually there's increasing value.
Okay.
That's the idea.
I think you touched a lot of good points. I don't want to repeat that. Just one point from my side is from micro industry point of view. How do you maintain your? What's the sustainability of your?
Yeah. Well, I didn't quite get to that slide, but it's the weakest part of the argument. In fact,
Okay.
we've got trademark obviously on our name, and we're trying to do the branding side of it. We've got some design registrations.
What is a design registration?
It's a sort of it's basically where you start to build up a body of design types that you start to say we're kind of it's not the same protection as a patent, but you know
Okay.
it's still some sort of protection.
But you
The
can
style
find
of
it
your
even-
building can be kind of protected.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I mean it's you know I mean the problem it is easy to get around it probably, but
Yeah.
the more we do, the harder it will become.
I
That's
see.
just building
Can you-
up the body.
Can you introduce any kind of like building techniques?
We are
Therefore
working on it. I
then-
mean, that's one of the
okay.
things we're working on is working with Loughborough University to create a kind of patent type fabrication system, which obviously
Okay.
then is patentable.
Yeah.
But the design is a very difficult one to maintain. You do get copyright on every design as standard,
Yeah.
but obviously it's difficult because it's a much I don't know if you read the IP thing, but it was a good article in one of the readings. The copyright and is a very easy one to sort of get
For
around.
design, right?
The design,
If you
because
change
you
a little
don't need to
bit.
change a huge amount. But the more we do, and actually we're beginning to build up a huge body of work of drawings. Obviously, the more we do, the more we're kind of building around it, and the more it's easier then to start arguing. I mean, realistically, the only thing I've got to say that's in that favour is to say that the Victorian or the standard floor plate that
Right.
you know that you might live in, well, that's not. I mean, you know, that's technically copyrighted. Like everyone does it, and yet you're still building shed loads of houses, and people are still selling shed loads of houses.
Okay.
So it's not like even if there was someone to come in and take our model, ultimately that doesn't really harm us. In a way, it might help us because if someone's got lots of money and kind of says we just hope we'd do it better and with more finesse.
Yeah.
So I mean, so yes, it's a problem, but also in a kind of there's an opportunity there that if someone came along and built 3,000 of our homes, that would just give it more credibility in the design.
Yeah. Do you think that the brand strategy can help, like you build up a very strong brand?
Yeah,
build
that's
the
what we're
trust
trying to
with the
do.
customers?
That's what we're trying to do. But as a startup, building a brand is so hard. You know?
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes a hell of a lot of time.
Money. Okay. Yeah.
I don't really understand what we're supposed to tell you now.
Yeah.
Do you get what we're supposed to?
Yeah, I have a few points based on the sort of the, you guys comments about the criticism about it. For example, the sustainable advantage, right? So when they say that patentable, whether you have any patentable stuff, I mean it's quite hard to come up with a patent for a house design, isn't it? But you might want to consider something, for example, business model, which bring you advantage, like you combine with sort of mortgage, I don't know, so sort of clever way to sell the property, which give you a sort of leading position. Nobody really did before in the past.
That's actually a really good idea, just with the sorry to jump on that, with the banks, because I mean, getting a loan for a house
Yeah.
It's not that easy anymore, like it's just not.
Yeah.
And if the bank sees the value in the property, more so, like actually going to banks and their kind of, you know, surveyors or whoever they use to like kind of, you know, verify the value of the house, then helps you to kind of say, yes, it's valuable, you know, yeah, and you're right, if you could lock it up with like a mortgage product,
Yeah.
or, you know, kind of some sort of, you know, we've got, maybe it's not even a mortgage product, maybe it just says that, you know, maybe one of the banks, NatWest, approves, you know, mortgages like kind of almost unconditionally, given the right, you know, financial background of the, but unconditionally for those
That's a
houses.
good idea. I'm not sure that's patentable, but it certainly helps
It
protect
helps
the
to
position.
build a sustainable advantage.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
But speaking of the patent, you said you got to explore the patents. Just wonder what kind of patent are you?
The patent, so we're investigating a prefabrication system, is how you would build this on a sort of ways, and we've got someone who's sort of half based at our office and half based at Loughborough University, so we're doing a kind of joint venture there. And that, at the end of it, if it all goes well, they will come out with a patented fabrication technology. So you won't necessarily be able to do the design, but what you will be able to do is be able to build it hopefully cheaper than anyone else.
That's a good idea, isn't it? If you have successful doing that, obviously people copy.
They could copy the design because they could build it traditionally in
cost
another
more.
way,
Well,
but
it costs
hopefully it will cost
Costs
more,
more,
or the quality will be lower, or whatever.
Yeah. And speak of the branding, right? You mentioned that it's a startup is when people go to brand it. But you might consider some sort of different way to do cheap advertisement. I'm not sure whether social network might help.
Yeah, we're on
That's
social networks.
Yeah, certainly there are quite a number of free tours.
Yeah.
That
I mean, we're
might
doing
help.
that. We're putting sort of quite a lot of investment in our social networks. And
Do you go to lots of trade shows, or like
No.
is that in the
All
pipe?
design competitions,
design.
I think.
we are in
Design
those competitions.
shows.
We're actually in the final of a competition.
That's probably
That's
the.
good.
Well, it's
that's
actually
very
not a
good.
design competition. We've won some design competitions in the past, and we'll enter these
You
ones.
need
as
that
design.
on your slide deck.
You think? Okay.
Oh my god, yeah, totally. Yeah.
But what does that?
I mean, you have a product that's won awards, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
why not?
far better than what I have. Like, nothing. No, but that's great, right? Someone, okay, I mean, because the thing is, when you're talking to the, you know, the angels, they might know nothing about design. And kind of if you said, I got an award from this industry body
Yeah.
that says my design is awesome,
Yeah.
they're like, oh,
And what about press mentions? Do you think that lends
Yeah.
credibility?
Press?
totally.
If you have set up
Totally.
press mention list of them,
Yeah.
put up
Okay.
PPT of you, very good.
I would definitely put that sort of stuff in.
Okay.
Sorry, I think that will now become like critique. The
I thought we have
well, I'll probably
Prepare.
provide some suggestions.
It's all useful, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Very great stuff.
So I feel that it's not really clear what product is, because obviously it's quite difficult because of design, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a
But
design.
how make it different compared to other, architecture form,
Is the internal space.
internal?
I mean, the problem is in 5 minutes you haven't got enough time to go into everything, right? I don't want to get into. I could explain the space. That would take me 5 minutes. And
I think you can do it quite quickly.
can you?
Well, I think, look, if I understand it correctly,
Yeah.
and maybe this is like super layman's terms.
That's all right. That's good.
But you've taken like walls out.
Yeah.
To make-
Subtraction method.
Yes. you've taken walls out in homes, and not just walls. Basically, the difference between an open plan
Yeah.
living space and solid space is that you've taken walls out in a three-dimensional manner.
Walls and
So
floors.
that you can, walls and floors. So that, it's kind of, it only really, to me, when I imagine like your houses, it's only ever going to work if it's a two-story house plus, right?
It's certainly not on a one
It's not a
story.
one-story house, that's just an open plan that's been around for 100
Exactly.
years, right?
Exactly.
It's just you've taken out some walls, some floors to create like an open space kind of three-dimensionally. I think you can just say that.
Just say.
People like, okay, or like you give an example, if you're standing in the living room,
Yeah.
you can look up to like the landing on the second floor
But
or
does that, do
something.
those
And
pick-
out the second floor window.
Yeah.
even.
Do those
Pure.
I think
You've got, I mean, 5 minutes, you're sort of,
It is challenging.
it's so challenging to get, you
You
don't
could
want
use
to,
one of your pictures.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, that-
through the discussion, you can bring more slides to us.
yeah,
That's the way how it works.
yeah.
You can show whatever you haven't shown to us right now, I think.
I think we're done. We have to move on.
Yeah.
Probably
well,
instead of four, maybe like four.
No,
We've
because
got
we
5
have to
minutes.
move on at
We've got 5
9:30.
minutes.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right.
so-
Sorry,
We have 5 minutes, in
Gus.
fact,
Gus, we have 5 more minutes.
for us actually, for us to encourage him to
Oh,
come
yeah.
in with something.
Oh, I see.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I think the target market thing is good to look at. I mean, you can like people have bought your homes, right?
Yeah.
Do you actually? Sorry, maybe you said this and I just didn't understand, but. Explain the model. Do you buy the property and then
Well, this is
convert it and then
the
sell it,
slide
or
I
do
didn't
you-
get onto. Basically, four different revenue streams. These two are in existence, and these two are the ones I'm working on. So at the moment, we basically buy the land ourselves, then we effectively construct the thing. You get the revenue when you sold the unit, and then you've got all of these, all of this issue. An investor, basically, we use investors' money to do the same thing. So an investor gives us some money, we then go out and buy land with their money,
Okay.
and then basically build the products and da-da-da. Then this is one that these are the two I'm working on, and this one is where I use people like you, your money, basically to say, I'm going to build you guys a house,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get you all together so that we can afford to buy a decent sized plot, and then basically I do exactly the same with that, but you end up living in it.
Yeah, this is not a nice one. It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's different, and then this is a selling point. It's make you immediately different compared to other forms,
That's right.
other
And then,
product.
and then I'm saying we become a design sort of, and we license our design to developers. So this
I
is
think
one of
you
the.
need to. I think you can't do all of them.
Yeah,
I think you need to pick.
yeah.
I just think it's
As a
too-
business, we can't do
As
all
a
of them.
business, you can't do all of them.
No.
I think you need to pick.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you've got to try. You've got to try and get revenue
can-
wherever you can.
Well, start by
because the thing is, this
Sorry.
takes such a long time.
They are not mutually exclusive.
No, I don't think
No,
that
they're
is.
not mutually exclusive.
Well,
yeah.
why do you think you can't do them all?
I just think you're going after different groups of people. Like the customer is different, and I think it's just hard.
Well,
to
the
kind of
customer,
try and-
the customer in my mind, here and here, are sort of the same.
Maybe
Yeah,
I don't understand the difference between the speculative and
It's
co-housing.
just the source of the funding.
Basically,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
a
point at
funding.
which you enter.
I almost wouldn't do the speculative.
No, it's the hardest bit actually. But the problem is, I mean, we've got some already in the pipeline, so clearly we're going to finish that out, and then we'll sort of see.
I think that would
It's
make
the best way to make money though. That's the most
Actually-
profitable.
But it might make an investor nervous just because you're taking on a lot
No,
of risk.
they like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why they take a lot of risk?
I don't
It's just
think
the
they're
funding,
taking risk.
right?
What's
the whole
the
process
risk
is the
for
same.
them?
The business is taking more risk
No, I don't
by
think.
actually owning the land and not just like
No, because
building a product for someone.
I think they like the fact that we're doing lots because it gives us credibility.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, basically this was our first one, and that's a sort of we've moved on from that. So really what we do is we have a big kitchen diner, we have a living room, and a workspace is the sort of DNA of everything. So here you've got the big kitchen diner, you've got the living room, and behind there you've got the workspace.
That's good. In the central one,
Yeah.
are they stains in the slab? Or?
That's concrete, yeah, we've left it all exposed concrete.
Mm.
Okay.
That's nice. I like that.
Mm.
I mean, it's a design.
Which
This
one
one's
do
all
you
plaster.
live in?
That one.
No.
This one's going on for sale in September. So, I mean, the thing is, we've tried a lot to try and explain this, and we get ourselves tied up into knots so badly that actually I think it's better just to move on and say, do you know what? We're just offering a product which is specifically aimed for the design-conscious consumer. Because the whole thing for me is that all of these items do not really fit in these kind of houses, and yet that's where all these kind of people are living.
Yeah.
People there are no other choices. You either go modern homes, which look shit basically, but I won't say that.
Yeah, in the UK I don't understand.
No.
Why?
But-
It's awful.
And to be honest, if an investor did live in that, they're probably not going to
in Europe in general, I just don't like that.
Possibly, I
just
don't know.
like
But
that.
we don't want to exclude them from the beginning, right?
No, you're right. I mean, you're right.
We should finish in a minute,
Yeah.
but I had one idea. I don't know if this is easy to find, but if you could find viewership of Grand Designs.
4 million people.
Yeah, but like the details of the viewership of Grand Designs. Like who is it? Like my dad watches it fine. He's
Yeah.
like, you know, a civil engineer. And
It basically, my
Like
target
basically-
audience are ABC ones,
okay.
right?
Hmm.
And ABC ones,
Get more detail because in ABC One,
yeah.
you know, like they're very broad
Yeah.
brush categories.
I mean, I wonder if
think you
can
need
get
to be
more.
specific.
Okay,
You need to know where you're going to find these people, right?
cool.
Because great idea, great product, but if you can't find anyone
Yeah.
to buy it,
Yeah,
no
true.
point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next
Should
one.
I use yours?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. No
It's
problem.
the quickest and quickest thing.
Oh, that might work now. That thing.
Okay, good.
Ah, we have to
You wanna-
stop the
Oh yeah.
registration.
Oh, we recorded through the whole thing?
Yeah.
We recorded through that whole
Yes.
discussion?
I think it's
I don't
still
know if that's
recording.
what
It's still recording now.
Sorry?
It's still recording now. I
Yeah,
guess.
I
Yes,
think we
so
want to
how
stop
do
it
we-
and then restart.
Yeah, makes sense.
It
Makes
risks
sense
what?
because otherwise
Stop
you have-
it, and then we take a break and.